wait a minute.
You know they're out there, don't you?
Hi, hello everybody. I am Miss Ashrax, or you can call me Ash, Ashley, whatever floats your boat. I am here today with James from To Write Love on Her Arms and Calamity Darling today. And she is a creator here on Twitch and she does fundraising through Tiltify. So we just wanted to give you a heads up. Calamity did have some tech problems, so she will be audio only for today. But we're so happy to have her here. So today we are chatting with To Write Love in Her Arms and Calamity for Mental Health Action Day. If you're wondering what Mental Health Action Day is, Mental Health Action Day is a day to take the first action to get mental health support, whether for yourself, your loved ones, or for all by advocating for systemic changes to remove the stigma around mental health. So I'm so happy to be here today. And it's probably your first time seeing me. So just want to give you an introduction to me. I'm Ash, and I am Tiltify's community manager. I am so honored to be here and working with the Tiltify team. But let's throw it to our wonderful guests. We have James. Can you give us a little about yourself and
Hello.
what To Write Love in Her Arms is?
I can, and congratulations to you for joining the Tiltify team.
Thank you.
We're excited that you're here. And thanks for having To Write Love here and represented on Mental Health Action Day. I am James. I work with the To Write Love on Her Arms team, and I primarily work with live content creators. So whether it's Twitch or YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, that is my role, is kind of interacting with the live content community.
Perfect. So, Calamity, how you doing, dear? Doing good?
I'm doing good, yeah. Bit
After the
frustrated with the
crazy,
tech
yeah,
issues.
technology has its days, you know. We also do have James pronouns is he they, and Calamity's pronouns are she her. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Calamity, and fundraising for To Write Love in Our Arms, and how was it for you?
Yeah, so I'm Calamity. I'm a content creator here on Twitch, and I really I've actually known about Trite Love in Her Arms for years. They're from my hometown, so I remember hearing about them in high school because people would wear the shirts, and I'd say, "Oh, what's that?" And just like the message of hope that they just portray without saying, oh, like, because I guess a lot of like mental health things tend to be like, oh, like you just need to be positive, you just need to do better. But Try Love on
Mhm.
Her Arms has always kind of touched me because they're really good at understanding and validating your kind of experience with mental health, but then saying, but you can still hope.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what inspired me to do uh, my fundraiser for them back in January. And that was an amazing experience. We just had like a very cozy, just fun games stream, and just talked about like various mental health topics. People kind of opened up. I opened up about my own mental health experiences, and it was all in all just an incredible day. Which is why I am actually going to be doing this 5K next week, which is exciting but terrifying because I'm not a runner. I'm actually a sprinter, but
Oh.
yeah. So this is going to be an adventure. But it's for hope. It's for such an amazing organization that I love. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
just excited to do it. Yeah,
And when are you doing that?
that is next Saturday.
Next
Yes.
Saturday. Well,
Yep.
hopefully it's
Thanks for the
good
plug.
weather.
Appreciate it. That's our annual mental health 5K.
Really?
We
I
moved
didn't
to a
know
virtual
about
event
that.
this year. Yes. Yes.
Wow, and
Up
that
and
happens every
coming.
year? Or
It does happen every year. This year, probably next year, we're going to experiment with the speed running event around it in the Twitch world. So that's in the works.
oh.
Ooh.
Oh. I like what I'm hearing. I'm going to have to talk with you more later about that then. So,
Yeah, for sure.
mental note there. Again, thank you both for being here and thank you for the brief introduction about yourselves. James, let's talk more about To Write Love in Our Arms. How long have you been there?
I've been at Two Right Love since 2018. So you mentioned Twitch a little bit, and I see Ashley and your counterpart Ashley in chat talking about folks that remembered us from the Warp Tour days, and Calamity remembered us from her high school days. And I think that's true of a lot of folks. They kind of found or heard of Two Right Love when they were younger, and our
Wow.
involvement with Twitch really started in 2018,
Mhm.
and it's evolved since then, right? If you knew us back in the punk rock early 2000s days, we kind of went from there to the EDM scene, and then still very involved in the EDM scene, but now ever more involved in kind of the digital content scene. So that's been
Mhm.
the evolution since then. But the organization itself was founded back in 2006.
2006. Wow.
Mhm.
And
I
I
know,
still
we just had
remember.
our 15 years
Oh, yeah.
just
Oh my
happened.
gosh.
Oh, it is 2021, isn't it?
Somehow,
It is
somehow, some way.
2021.
Somehow it happened.
Yeah,
Right?
our original mission is still intact since then. I mean, the
Mhm.
organization started in kind of a unique way. So Jamie, our founder, wrote a blog post on MySpace, because at the time that was where you put your blog post, was on MySpace. And he wrote about helping his friend Renee recover from drug addiction. That was the original story. And the title of that story was To Write Love on Her Arms. And it was about Renee's journey and Jamie's involvement with Renee's journey. And so the mission then was to be a bridge toward better mental health for originally one individual. This story inspired a lot of people and kind of caught fire from there. The organization was originally funded with t-shirt sales. We still have a lot of
Wow.
t-shirts. That's why we have a merchandise store.
I
I
want
think
that
we're unique
one.
for a not-for-profit. It's a good one,
I
right?
like that one.
We're
Yeah.
restocking now. We're restocking
Ooh.
now.
Okay.
But the that's been was an important part of our original founding, and so we've kept it even today, and it's still an important part of the organization.
Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that's how the funding started through
That's how
shirts.
we got rolling.
Hmm.
Wow. What else do you have on a store? Is it
We
just shirts
have
or bracelets?
we have shirts, hoodies, masks, bracelets. Actually, Renee, who the original story was written about, makes some jewelry that's available in the store, and
Oh,
all of that is part of funding our not-for-profit mission. So any of the proceeds from that actually go directly back into to Right Love. So donating is always appreciated, but if you also want to pick yourself up a shirt, that money ends up backing the same cause.
All the people in chat, Ash wanting that merch. Yes, you know I'm big on t-shirts.
Big on the
My entire
merch.
closet is just Twitch merch, charity merch, everything.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
I will be on that. Hopefully people in chat too. So talking more about To Right Love in Her Arms, how does the funding directly impact the organization?
Sure. So we talk about ourselves as a bridge for folks. So we don't offer primary mental health services ourselves. So most of the staff, we are not counselors. We are not mental health professionals in the kind of licensed classical sense. Our
Mhm.
job, though, is to get conversations started and to bridge people to better mental health. And we do that through a couple of ways. So our website, which is our acronym TWLOHA.com, has a ton of resources on it. We launched a self-care kit there that gives you techniques for calming yourself down, different ideas and practices and habits that you can get into to take care of yourself. Another thing we're really proud of is our Find Help tool, which allows you to search with the zip code if you're in the United States. There are international resources listed there as well, but it will show you everything from casual support groups that are around you to full-blown therapy and counseling. And you can actually filter that by anything you want. You can filter it by I'm currently pregnant, the language that you speak. You can do race, you can do physical ability, you can source by your means, right? If you're able to afford healthcare yourself or not. All of that is available on the Find Help tool. And that actually feeds into our scholarship fund as well, where we're able to cover at least part of the cost of therapy and counseling
Wow.
for folks that can't afford it. So all of those things, the creation and maintenance of those tools are examples of what our funding goes towards.
Wow, that is absolutely
A
incredible.
lot of stuff, a lot of
Yes.
Mhm.
things.
And just to about the Find Help tool,
Yeah,
me as a creator, I have a command in my chat. I don't know if you do
yeah.
Calamity, or you can probably set this up on your stream too, and every creator here in the chat. I have a command. The message is exclamation help, and I actually have it forwarding to the Find Help feature with To Right 11 Arms on the website. So
Oh, that's perfect.
if there's I know it's really a touchy topic when we do have people in our community that come and chat and are like, I'm having suicidal
Sure.
thoughts, it may be, or I'm just having a
Mhm.
difficult time mentally. Set up that command. And usually, what I do, I'll check in on them just to make sure they have followed up or use that source because it's very helpful. And I've actually had a lot of community members be grateful that I had that command because you never know. And when you're live, it is really hard to, change your focus on them and
It
how can you
is.
handle it. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Calamity, have you had an experience like that during your stream at all?
definitely.
Yeah.
I've definitely had people come in and express that they're having difficult times,
Hmm.
and I always like to kind of say, like, I'm not, a medical professional. I'm here to talk. I'm here to encourage and support, but I do have resources. Not the Find Help tool. I need to make a command for that. That's a really
Yeah,
good
it's
idea.
very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, I have it in my panels.
Hmm.
So if people and many other different resources
Yeah.
for people if they are struggling, but I just always say, like, I'm here to be an ear and I'm here to be a cheerleader. But if you do need those extra sources, definitely, check them out because like it, and I guess just taking like away the shame of that, because a lot of people feel like they I don't know, like, especially I've noticed in a lot of like Black and brown communities, mental health isn't really talked about as much, and it's kind of a
Yeah.
taboo thing. So, um,
Still a work in progress, but I think we've made a lot of progress.
oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, especially with everything that's going on in our world every single day, especially from last year and the
Especially,
pandemic that we are still in. Um,
yeah.
oh my gosh, COVID has impacted so many families. It's
It has.
crazy. Yeah.
We're on the way
Uh,
out of it though.
On the
Slowly,
way.
slowly but
So,
slowly,
surely.
so
but sure.
close. So, speaking of COVID, how did that impact To Write Love in Her Arms last year? Did you see any crazy impact with the
Uh,
pandemic?
we have seen not just for us, but a need for a massive influx of a need for mental health resources across the board. I think just because to your point, it wasn't just the pandemic, right? It was everything that happened and was relevant to people of color. It was being
Mhm.
isolated from family. It was people fearing losing their jobs, right? People kind of
Yeah.
so much happened in 2020 that it's easy to forget all of the things that happened in 2020. And
Right?
all of that was occur, and there was an election or something in there that was stressful. um so there's so many things, right? And I think that people really, I think that everybody struggled to some degree, but I think it brought out a lot of trauma for folks,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
made a lot of folks realize that they needed help.
Yeah.
Calamity. Last year, I know it's crazy. How did COVID impact you and content creation and just your feelings in general?
Interestingly enough, COVID is why I started content creating actually, because I
Wow.
was laid off from my job in
Oh,
March, and like they kind of brought me back a little bit, but it was kind of clear that they would not be able to keep me on long. So I started just kind of, I had some more free time. So I started streaming actually, even though I'd wanted to for years. That was kind of the initial push. I'm thankful for it because my mental health was definitely impacted. I suddenly, I went from having like a full-time job with benefits to just nothing. And, that experience happened for so many people as well.
yeah.
So I definitely struggled, but I think streaming actually saved my mental health in a lot of ways. It gave me a way to kind of reach out to others and help people, because I realized that through streaming I could do charities and
Mm-hmm.
fundraise for causes that were just greatly needed. So yeah, COVID, it's interesting. It kind of, as terrible as it is and continues to, or as terrible as it was and continues to be, um, it kind of made me I'm trying to think of like how to word this, but it pushed me to, I guess, do something. I just needed to do something. There was so much hurt and so much pain in the world. So that's kind of what I did.
What is this something that you speak of? Is it just streaming? What else have you done? Because I've you've done so much more than just streaming. You raised money for charity. You built a
Yeah,
community. Can you go more in depth with that?
yeah, for sure. So when I say like I needed to do something, like I just had to help in like whatever way I could. So I did my first charity stream back in August. I have raised money for I believe I counted 8 different charities at this point.
Ooh,
It's a
since
lot, racking it
August?
up.
Yeah.
Since August?
Been
Yeah.
busy.
And it's honestly been incredible. I've loved every
Yes,
second.
that is absolutely insane in all the right
Mm-hmm.
ways. That is awesome. Wow. Okay. Woo.
I love what you're saying about
Yeah.
you realize that you had to do something, and
Mm-hmm.
then you were able to find a positive outlook for that pain, right? Or a positive activity to direct that energy toward, right? I mean, that is
Mm-hmm.
the heart of what we refer to as self-care, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you're struggling and being able to take your mind and say, okay, I the situation that I'm in is tough. My feelings are valid. It's okay for me to feel the way that I feel, right? You're not trying
Mm-hmm.
to ignore how you feel, but you're saying I need to do something with this, right? That's going to help me dig out of it. And that
Exactly.
is that is the heart of what self-care is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've been practicing self-care last couple months. Oh, it's hard. It is so hard. I can't explain it. And now that I'm working from home, I really need to pace myself from stepping away from screens
Yep.
and
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, Calamity, can you relate?
Oh, I can relate so hard, like to
And
the point
James.
where like I have to put my iPad upstairs because like I'll start working on stuff. Like it's very hard for me to slow down and stop. But something I've been trying to do lately is saying, okay, at 10, everything shuts down. Um,
Yeah,
I
that's
have to
perfect.
physically like leave my office like as much as I want to play video games and chill that way. Like if I
Yeah.
am even near my computer, I'll just find myself starting to work again. So to me it's looked like stepping away, going downstairs, maybe playing Animal Crossing or just like something else away from the space because it's difficult working from home because you're not like going to a new space. Um
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
like when you leave work, you come home, you relax, there's a separation there. So I found it really difficult to I guess maintain that separation. So I've definitely definitely been trying to practice more self-care in that way.
James,
Ashley and I were just talking about
yeah,
that
we were
before we
just
went
talking
live,
about it.
actually.
Yeah, James says I do a short fake commute, which is taking a walk
Yes, the
outside.
fake commute. Yeah.
I need
Yeah,
to
it's I
do
leave my
that.
apartment and
Yeah.
walk around the block, and that's my commute to work, even though I end up back in my apartment again.
Yep.
Then end of the
That's a
workday,
good
take another
idea.
walk, right? Just makes your
um,
brain come down from the workday. It's important.
I'm not sure if you know, James, but does To Write Love in Our Arms have any blog posts or any posts about self care tips for
We do. We
people?
have a lot actually, and we've had streamers actually write for our blog before, which is
Wow.
still an open opportunity. I think I saw Anxiety Marie in chat a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
She's I think written 2 or 3 blog posts for us at this
Oh,
point.
wow.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
to write,
Did not know
it's on
that.
our main website up at the top. There's just a tab for blog, but the whole idea is to take personal, relatable mental health stories that are punctuated with the theme of hope, right? Where people are very
Correct.
open and honest about
Mhm.
what they're dealing with, and then the story is kind of punctuated with, okay, but where do you go, right, after you know that
Mm-hmm.
you feel those things. I love those stories, especially for Mental Health Action Day, because that is the beginning of taking action on your own mental health is realizing that it's okay to feel what you feel, right? I
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people, maybe denial is not the right word, but are almost dismissive of their own feelings and emotions, as opposed to saying it's okay that I don't feel great after a year of being locked down, right? It's okay that I miss gaming conventions, right? It's okay that I
Oh.
miss
Mhm.
seeing my streamer friends in those places, right? It's okay to
Mm-hmm.
Aw,
feel the things that you feel, uh, so long as you don't let them consume you, right? And we,
Yeah.
we hope that our blog is a source of inspiration for that. Um,
yes.
but yeah, we would love to have more folks in the Twitch community write for that too. We love being able to publish our friends that back us up on Twitch.
Well, guess it's great that I'm here to help you work on that, isn't it?
It is.
And I just want to touch base. Now my mom is here in a chat. I was already going to talk about it. My
Perfect.
mom, and I'm sure she's okay
Hi.
with me talking about it. She got really, really bad anxiety from the
Mm.
pandemic. So going out to
Sure.
the stores, she would walk in a store, and if it's too many people, she would start sweating. She would start to
Yeah.
hyperventilate. She's
Mm.
like, I can't do this, and we'll end up having to leave. So, um, speaking of Animal Crossing, that saved her life, and it makes me want to
Oh.
cry. I might cry, but oh, I'm emotional,
Animal
chat.
Crossing has been the true
Ah,
hero of the
Yes,
I'm
it
pandemic has
emotional.
been Animal
is.
Yeah,
Crossing.
but Animal Crossing literally saved her life. Literally, it kept her busy. She felt so happy and engaged to work on her island, talking to Tom Nook, taking all her money. It just made her happy. So, yeah, it really sucks that COVID has impacted so many people mentally. And my mom has never had anxiety ever. So, this was really new for me. And I had to, no, don't cry. No. Um, I worked really hard on my lashes, chat. You see them? I don't
They
need them to
look
fall off.
great.
Thank you. Yeah, it just, I had to look up
It's
resources on how to help her, and Rye Love in Her Arms helped me in so many ways to
that's
help her.
awesome.
I had to stay strong for her while dealing with my own issues too from the pandemic because I'm such an outgoer. I love
Mm.
meeting people, I love being around people. That's how I drive myself off of other people's interactions. So it was really hard not to go to TwitchCon and PAX West and everything, going to see my friends, going out to eat with them. It really, really sucked all last year.
Yeah.
So it's been absolutely amazing to go out with friends finally, being vaccinated, having fun. But yeah,
Yeah.
I see in chat that Animal Crossing has helped everyone's life.
Animal
It
Crossing has
came out
helped
at the
so many people.
it it came out at the
Yeah.
perfect time.
It
Literally came
did.
out the month of
It did.
the pandemic starting. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How did the conversation between you and your mom and her mental health start? And I ask that because we believe that conversations like that save lives, right? We believe that, especially on Mental Health Action Day, that first step, right, whether it's you to a parent or a parent to their child, right, saying, I'm struggling and here's why. I mean, that is
It's
as
yeah.
big of a first step. That is as big as the first step needs to be to get yourself started down the path of better mental health.
My mom tries to stay strong all the time. She doesn't want to appear weak or hurting. There's always some days where I'll hear her crying. I'm like, what's going on in there? She's like, no, no, go away. No,
Oh.
I'm fine. I'm like, no, what's going on? We're going to talk about this. I love you and you're my whole entire world. Ooh, no, I don't want to cry.
Mhm.
I love that woman because she raised me all by herself. I guess I'm crying. I guess I'm crying. So it started with me getting on her, really, honestly.
Sure.
Like, no, you have to be vulnerable. I have to talk. We need to talk. I have struggles that I go through. You have struggles you go through, and it's okay, mom. It's okay. And I hope you're listening. I love you, woman. I love you. But it
No,
really just
that is
started
such
with
a
having accountability and working on it together and being mindful of things that do overwhelm her and helping her through it. And she's doing really good. So
I'm so
you have
glad
a
to hear
gift
Zoom
from
that.
glitch.
Zoom
Oh,
screen.
oops. Oh, are we
A friendly
okay?
gift from Zoom. We're okay. Everything's good. But no, that is
We
a
good?
the
Sorry.
conversation between you and your mom is such a there's so much in there that we talk about all the time at To Write Love, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's stigma there, right? And some of that is I think that we all of us as humans are getting better about expressing our mental health, right? But there is definitely a generational gap between, you don't show emotion and that is a weak thing,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yeah.
makes, and I think I was raised that way too, right? And it took me
Mm-hmm.
until I was, I don't know, 29, right, to
Yeah.
be, and I'm 31 now, so 2 years of experience talking about my emotions, getting better at it every day. But that is part of Mental Health Action Day, right? Part of Mental Health Action Day is getting through that stigma and saying, I am not weak because I am fighting depression. I am not weak because it's hard for me to want to get up and work some days, right? I'm not weak
Mm-hmm.
because the grocery store gives me such bad anxiety anymore that I need to
Mm-hmm.
leave before I've even like bought peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard, right? We've spent
Mm-hmm.
well over a year now being conditioned to only go out when you absolutely need to, and always wear
Yeah.
masks and don't say close to people, and all of those things were necessary and important and good. But now we're trying to recover from that, and assess our lives after that, and it's tough, and
It's
struggling with that
hard.
doesn't make anybody weak, right? That doesn't
No.
make anybody lesser than, because they're not putting on the tough face, right?
Ooh. All right. My
That's a
tears are
lot of
controlled.
that's tears are good. Tears are good.
Yeah.
No, it's
Are
such the heart
good.
of
I
Mental Health
worked
Action Day,
really
is just
hard
getting
on my
through it all.
makeup, James. Worked very hard on it, okay?
It still looks great.
I remember I cried on stream a couple days ago and my makeup was just ugh, it just ugh.
Oh,
I said, chat, if I look like this again, tell me to stop. I'm just joking with them, but yeah, yeah, it's been crazy the last year, but I'm glad we're moving on up in a positive direction. So, Calamity, you said you fundraised for Two Right Love in Her Arms back in January, correct?
Yes, the end of
And that
January.
was that your first fundraiser for 11 Arms?
It was,
Oh,
yes.
that's awesome. So
Yeah.
throughout that fundraising experience, what were your talking points for fundraising?
Interestingly, a lot of what James was just saying, it's that talking about these things is not bad. It doesn't make you weak. It honestly, it's strength to kind of admit that you're struggling.
Yeah.
Um, it's very brave and strong of you to kind of say, I need help. So that was one big talking point that I had. Just encouraging people to, you know, open up about their struggles, and even if they don't like want to talk about it with somebody, because sometimes you just aren't in the place, to express it. But
Yeah, and that's fine too.
recognizing, yeah, and that's fine
Hmm.
too, but just kind of like recognizing that in yourself, and not calling yourself weak for it. So that was definitely one of the big talking points. I'm trying to remember, I had like very specific timers. I'm trying to remember what they were, but another big point was also like reaching out to others, and not particularly trying to fix them, because I think when we, especially when we care about somebody, when they come to us with mental health like any kind of mental health struggle, I think, for me anyway, my first instinct is usually to try to fix it, because I don't want the person to struggle anymore. So I'm like, have you tried X, have you tried, this and that. And something that I remember talking about, because it's something I really struggle with, is maybe they just need an ear. Maybe they just need someone to listen to them.
Hmm.
We're not medical professionals. We're just friends and family and, loved ones. And I think that when it comes to, helping others, you just have to, as much as you just want to take all their pain and hurt and suffering away, sometimes it's good to just listen, because they just need to get it out and like get it out of their heads. So
Mm.
that's another point I had, because it's something I definitely struggled with. Um, just like when it came to friends and such who were struggling with things. So and even people in my community who would reach out, I'd say, oh, have you tried this, have you tried that, but really what they just needed was someone to listen to. I also expressed that, you don't have to be like 100%. If I'm trying to think of like how I worded it,
You're fine.
but basically like doing the bare minimum, getting up, washing your face, you know,
Yeah.
having some semblance of a meal, you know, even if that's all you can do, give yourself credit, because in your current state, that's very difficult. And even if you didn't get to everything on your to-do list, even if you did, only get out of bed and maybe didn't wash your face, but you managed to eat something, take even those small moments and congratulate yourself, because those small bits of like hope will start to build, and hopefully lead you to better. Those are
Yeah,
some
I
other ones I
Go
had.
ahead, James. Sorry.
I, no, I was just gonna say that's so perfect, Calamity, because I think that not only do you as a listener want to do everything you can to help your friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to do everything that they can to help themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just a social element, right? Where we want to fix things. We're fixers, right? We're all fixers.
Mm-hmm.
um and I think the thing is that these issues are tough and complicated, and our brains are these infinitely complicated, powerful things. And it's just important to, if you are someone who is struggling, to not be judgmental of how fast or slow you're progressing, and then not
Mm-hmm.
be judgmental of assuming that they're healthy things for you, of the things that you use to help yourself, right? So if talking to a friend helps you, great. If you can do it, right, spending an hour playing Animal Crossing, if that helps you
Mm-hmm.
breathe a little bit, that's fine, right? to not
Mm-hmm.
to not judge, don't judge your own path, is the way that I would
Mm-hmm.
describe it.
And that's so hard to do,
It's hard.
especially with all
Yeah.
the
It's hard.
stigmas going on. It's crazy.
Yes.
Especially around men too, that men can't show emotions and You
Mm.
need to get it together, toughen up. We can go on all day about that one.
There's a lot of
And
that. There's a lot of
yeah,
that.
James, I'm sure you experienced that a lot. I'm sure.
I do. I gotta be honest though. I'm excited for these Gen Z kids though. They're pretty open about their mental health more
Yeah,
than prior generations were,
Yeah.
and
they
it's
are.
kind of
Yeah,
cool. It's kind of cool to watch, right? I mean, because we're it's working, right? We're winning. We are winning the war on stigma slowly but surely,
Mm.
and reprogramming the way society thinks about its mental health.
exactly.
But it starts with one conversation, right? It starts with one conversation with your mom about her anxiety of going out in public again. It
Mm.
starts with someone in chat saying, "Oh, that's cool. You're doing a fundraiser for To Write Love," and then they start thinking about their own mental health, right? And they
Yeah,
start thinking
Mhm.
about the ways that they can help themselves. That is where we win the fight against stigma.
Mm.
That's where it starts.
it's so amazing that us as creators, we get to do this too, especially with the Tiltify platform, having all the
Yes.
organizations ready for us to fundraise with our communities. It is so amazing that we have communities that really do listen to us and they support what we support. I love
Mm.
fundraising. It is the most beautiful thing in the world. I love it.
It's a feel good thing.
It
Yeah.
is, yes. And the first time I fundraised for To Write Love in Her Arms, my moderator, actually, Feral Witch, she, a couple years ago, she was having some suicidal thoughts and so forth. And To Write Love in Her Arms saved her life using the
Wow.
helpline. So thank you,
Um,
James, and your whole entire team for what they do. So I wouldn't have my
no,
moderator
thanks
here
for
today, my
Yeah,
lovely
no,
friend.
thank you for thinking of us. And we
Yeah,
talked to Farrell after that stream, shortly after. I think that she
really?
actually went on to do fundraising herself
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
for us not long after. So
Yeah.
no, we appreciate the being able to reconnect with her.
Yeah.
Mm.
She's great. What a wonderful gal. So thank you again. I also just wanted to touch on Calamity talking
Mhm.
about, the little things that you do, be proud of them. I always preach small victories. That is
Yes.
Yes.
that is the best thing ever. If I could just get out of bed and cook breakfast and go right back in bed, that's good. At least you got up and you're alive and you're kicking and you're at
Mhm.
home safe. So I really, really, really want everyone in chat to pride yourself on small victories. If you could do half of a project today, cool. If you can't mentally get through the full project, that's fine. That's okay. If you could do half, cool. Do the rest later or whenever you
Mm.
can. It's really important to know your boundaries for yourself. Um, I can't stress that enough. I'm still working on it.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working. When am I going to stop working? I know we talked about it earlier. I'm like, it's 12 a.m. now. Maybe I should stop. You got to really pace yourself. And Calamity doing 8 fundraisers since August. That is absolutely amazing. Pace yourself, though. Do pace yourself
Yes.
too. Okay. So keep
Yes.
that in mind too.
Yeah.
Um,
I won't even lie.
Yeah.
Last month I did kind of get burnt out.
yeah,
And
and
I
so did
did have
I.
to like step back and say, okay, hold on, hold on. Like these fundraisers are great, but like you need to be able to actually do them. Rest.
I I think in
Right.
2019 I did 5 or 6 throughout the year. And once it got to 2020, early 2020, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I feel so burnt out. I feel so
Mhm.
ugh." But I decided to take a break. I was like, I can always fundraise for these charities throughout the entire year. I think
Mm.
it's important to know that you don't always have to fundraise during the event. It's always nice. But of course, if you're feeling burnt out, take some time and you can fundraise for that cause throughout the year.
Exactly.
And it's always important to know whenever you do fundraise, it's what they didn't have yesterday. If you
Mhm.
raised $100, boom, they didn't have it yesterday, and you did it at a different time of the year, and that's totally fine. It's absolutely, it's just, yeah, I love fundraising, and
Yeah.
you could do that anytime. Just know that,
It,
okay?
Yes.
you
Yeah.
can do it at any time. And
Yeah,
and the other thing too is it's also not the only way to back up the charities that you love and
Yeah.
care about too. It's hard.
Yes.
Organizing a fundraising stream is hard, right? You're thinking
Mhm.
about incentives and time and how many days can I be live this week, and then what's
Mm,
my goal, and if I don't meet the goal, what happens? And it's hard to do that. But even just awareness is awesome, especially in mental health, right? I mean, we talked about our
Yes.
find help tool a couple of times. You
Mhm.
have that as a command in your chat. I know a bunch of other streamers do as well.
Mhm.
Guardians Mental Health is another mental health organization in the Twitch gaming ecosystem, and I think that they
Mhm.
actually have our find help tool in their Discord.
mm,
Some content creators have a Discord channel that's kind of dedicated to people sharing what they're dealing with at the moment. And some of those are automated with bots that can get people to resources if they need them. So all of that stuff, to me, that is just as powerful as the fundraising side, right?
Word
So,
of
mm,
but
mouth.
it's also, yeah,
Yep.
word of mouth, and
Mhm.
that is a less a lower impact way to back up any charity really,
Mhm.
through awareness that
yes.
doesn't require you to plan a whole week of streaming or month of streaming or whatever you're intending to do.
And I also wanted to touch on To Our Love in Our Arms tweets. They do, correct
Mm,
me if I'm wrong, they do daily tweets of just encouragement, motivation, and just, I love that. So if you're not following To Our Love in Our Arms on Twitter, do that because I have their notifications on, and I swear they come at the perfect time where you're
I was
feeling
gonna say
down.
that.
They're like, hey, look, darkness will go away. The signs will come out. I'm like, yes, I needed that. I needed that right
Yeah,
now. So they
yeah,
have
that's a
different tweets
Katie
that
on our
they do.
social team will appreciate that. She's
Shout out
awesome.
to Katie. Katie, I hope
Shout
you're
Yeah,
out.
watching. You're
crushing
doing a
it.
phenomenal job,
Thank
sweetie.
you, Katie.
Yes, thank you, Katie. So can we get a link in chat to I Love in Our Arms Twitter, please, James?
I can pull one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the other thing too is we try to be pretty proactive about interacting with content creators on there as well. I think actually there's a
mhm.
Calamity. I think you're actually our last tweet when I
Oh,
look
yeah.
at it. Um, so that's been a big initiative, and actually giving back in general to gaming and content creators has been a big initiative for us this year, and we try to show that through Twitter, through inviting people to write for our blog, through the Find Help tool, through
Yeah.
the Hopeful app. That's something we just launched, an
Mm,
app. It's on iOS and Android. That's a very recent thing. I forget to plug it because it's so new.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
Free
We'll
to anyone
download.
who wants to use it. Daily mood tracker. It gives you journaling prompts that are actually oftentimes from our blog or referencing our blog.
mhm.
Wow.
All of that stuff is created with giving back to the community, giving more mental health resources to the community.
Oh, I did not know that, James. Okay.
It's an
Hopeful
incredible
app.
app.
I just
Okay.
remembered it. Don't worry about it.
I was so excited when I saw that y'all were launching that. I downloaded it like immediately. I was like, this is so cool. So I love
Yes.
using it, especially the mood tracker.
Hmm. Well, we are gonna open it up to Q&A. Do we have any questions from chat? And of course, James and Calamity, if you have anything else you want to touch on, you can touch on it now. We can start with James if you have any other points.
Oh man, do I?
Do
Let's see.
you? Let's
Do
see.
I? I could probably come up with some. I mean, we talked about our Find Help tool, and we really want to spread that resource far and wide. And
Yeah.
that resource again is about us being a bridge, right? So what you'll find in the Find Help tool is not links to more To Write Love stuff, right? It's links
Mm,
to stuff that is in your local area that can help you, whether they know about To Write Love or not, right? We really just want to be the bridge to all-encompassing better mental health. We talked about the Hopeful app. We talked about some of our self-care resources. Working with us, if you're a content creator yourself, if you want to do some fundraising or write for our blog or collaborate, we actually have this stream for TWLOHA website, but you can also email me. If you email streamers@twloha.com, that is actually also, that link is also on that email address is also on our streaming website. That ends up in my inbox. So I'd be thrilled to talk to you and work with you.
You're the best, James. I
I
ever since I
appreciate you.
first met you, I was like, this guy is the best. And
Is a mess.
I, I didn't say it.
In a
I
good
didn't
way.
say
In a
it.
good way. No, we appreciate you too, and you were one of the earliest supporters of Two Right Love's efforts on Twitch. So infinitely
Mm.
appreciative of that.
I love you guys. Calamity, did you have any other pointers, dear?
Yeah, I did want to touch on kind of what James was talking about before, how like monetary support for charities, especially those for mental health, are definitely good. But there are so many ways to support other than, that. So just spreading the
Mm-hmm.
word, awareness, that was kind of mentioned. I just kind of wanted to echo that because that's something I make sure I say during every like charity stream I do. It's, if you don't have the means to give, that's okay. There are so many other ways to help. It's educating yourself about this. It's giving those resources to other people, making sure you um just know about the organization and what they do, and spread the word about it. So there's definitely many ways to do support.
Thank you, Calamity. We're so happy to have you here. I am so
Thank you.
happy to meet you. We get to talk a little bit more in the
I know.
future. Yes. We did have a question from A Thousand Dreams Fund for streamers in regards to mental health. How can we avoid that feeling of imposter syndrome? It's so easy to
Mm.
compare ourselves to our peers in a space. What tips do you have to avoid that?
Uh, First of all, Thousand Dreams Fund is a great organization, and I think that you were the recipient of a scholarship from them, right? Maybe. I'm not sure if you
Yes,
were or not.
I
I
was.
thought you were.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew I recognized them.
Yes.
I recognize them. Hey, gang.
They're the bomb. They're
Um,
the
They're
bomb.
oh man,
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
imposter syndrome. So this almost doesn't have this isn't specifically related to Twitch. One thing that I started doing for myself that helps, and it was actually it spawned out of a Two Right Love effort. I was doing like a year-end recap of what Two Right Love has done on Twitch. This is back in 2018 when we started on Twitch.
Mm.
And I wasn't feeling good that week, but as I started writing down the progress that we had made and the number of content creators they'd worked with, I started thinking not just about that, but other things that I had accomplished that year, right? So whether it was attended this many gaming conventions or did a live show at a gaming convention, or
Mm.
right, I think that maybe once a year, every 6 months, sitting down with yourself and saying, okay, forget about what everybody else is doing, right? Let me do almost a year in review for myself and
Mm-hmm.
write down all of the things that you did that year. And then you're going to be sitting at, a page or two full of stuff and be like, you know what? I might not be, like a couple thousand concurrent viewers on Twitch, but look at all this stuff that I've done that is good
Hmm.
and meaningful and validates my presence in the community. I think like a little mini year in review for yourself can really help extinguish imposter syndrome.
I
Wow.
am taking that. I love that so much.
It's a good one. I recommend it
Yeah.
because it's dug me out of a hole a couple of times.
Mm.
Yeah, and it goes back to the small victories. That all kind of intertwines together.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of combat that. I think about all the organizations we support as a community. I think about all the things I accomplished with Twitch, and I think about
Yeah, you're
impact
in the
over.
industry now. I'm so excited for you. Look at you.
I could cry, James. No,
It's
not
so good.
again. Thank you. Thank you.
It's perfect.
I like to think back of everything I've done, and I'm just so proud of
Mm.
it to this day. And it's all about impact over numbers for me. That's
Mm.
how I think about it. And but it's gonna happen. I feel like you're always gonna have that feel of imposter syndrome. It's so hard to not feel that within this industry. Calamity, I'm
Mhm.
sure you can bounce off of that too, because
For sure.
it's just so hard. But as long as you know how to get yourself out of that rut, it will be helpful. Content creation, you're looking at everyone succeeding or whatever it may be. There's different things that happen on a timeline. Everyone's doing
Mm.
different things, different projects, and you're like, how do I do that? How do I get there? I think it's also important to have those healthy conversations with your peers. If there's something
Mm.
you want to work towards, ask for help and
Yeah.
work towards it. I think that's the healthiest way of wanting to improve yourself too. Because usually when those feelings happen of imposter syndrome, you want to do that too, and you want to have an impact in some way or shape or form. So I like having those conversations with my peers and going from there. So
Yeah.
Calamity, I know you have something for this. I know you do because you're
So yeah.
phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
You
I
are. I hope you know that.
love
You better
you.
know it. I'm proud of everything you're doing. Okay.
Thank
Can we get
you.
some love in chat for
Oh my God.
Calamity? Can we please? And you're still here throughout all the tech issues. I am so happy and grateful to have you
Yeah.
here.
And thank you so much for just working with me through all my tech
Of
issues.
course.
Like
Of
after this,
course.
I'm gonna go
You are
yell at my
gonna
computer.
you are either gonna be on your tablet, honey, a laptop, or your phone. I was gonna make it work.
Yeah, I was like, if I have to be on my phone, it's what's gonna have to happen. It's
Exactly.
fine. I'm here for it.
Hey, adaptability is an important strength.
That's, oh
Exactly.
my gosh. Thank you, theater, for teaching me that. I will say when it comes to imposter syndrome, it's don't be too hard on yourself. This is a kind of industry where it's so easy to compare your journey to everybody else's. And say, oh, that, and people are always, like kind of like you said, Ash, but just posting about opportunities and new sponsorships. And it's really easy to kind of say, oh, well, my inbox has been quiet lately, be kind to yourself during those moments. Don't say, oh man, why am I feeling like this? Give yourself some grace. That's been one big thing for me, is just giving myself some grace. It's tough. It's tough out there. So
Grace is such a good word. Such a good word.
It is.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Somebody said it to me very recently. They said, give yourself some grace. And there was just this like moment
You
of
don't
like,
hear that often. Yeah.
yeah.
You don't hear that often.
Yeah, but
Wow.
that's one thing that has kind of helped my imposter syndrome when I started doubting myself and questioning, how come I'm not doing XYZ? It's like, give yourself some grace. You work hard. Your time will
Exactly.
come.
Yeah,
Aw.
I think the other thing that's important there too is to remember that everyone from the outside looking in appears to be an overnight success, right? You can work hard for 10 years, and in your 11th year, you have great success, and everyone will say,
Exactly.
oh, this person came out of nowhere and they have this huge channel and they're doing all these things. And it's like, they're like, I've been here for 10 years, right? Trying every day to make it work. And in the 11th year, it finally came around. So I think it's good to just step back and breathe and try and reframe perspective and say that these folks once were where I am now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it takes 2 years or 6 or 8. If I am enjoying it and it's what I want, I can keep working toward it.
I love that. Wow.
I love that.
It's such a pleasure being surrounded by amazing people. Oh my goodness, I love it. We got a raid from Kat. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Welcome in, everybody. We are talking about Mental Health Action Day. We have To Right Love in Our Arms here and an amazing creator, Calamity Darling. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming over. If you want to learn about Mental Health Action Day, we are going to just briefly touch base on it. We are getting towards the end of our show here. But basically, Mental Health Action Day is all of May. Well, it takes place May 20th, but Tiltify, we are taking action all of May. So we've been having discussions with different mental health charities. And I believe I cannot remember. I think we have one more after this one, but I'll verify. I will verify.
Pay attention to the We Are Tiltified Twitter.
Yes, to pay attention to social
It'll
media.
be on there.
Because I can't think right now.
Yeah.
But Mental Health Action
Maggie's
Day
all over it.
Exactly. It's a day to take the first action to get mental health support, whether it's for yourself or a loved one. And we are trying to advocate for systemic changes to remove the stigma around mental health. And I'm pretty sure as creators, we know all about that. So welcome in, everyone. And please take the time to take action. We have that command in chat. And to learn more about 2 by 11 Our Arms, there's a little bio. But if you have
There we
any
are.
questions, we're going to wrap up here. But any questions are welcome for me, Calamity, or James. Anything 2 by 11 Our Arms related, creation related, fundraising related. We can open it up right now for a few minutes.
Yeah,
Oh.
and just to recap on ways to work with us. I mean, we believe in creativity. Um, we want people to come as they are. So there's no criteria to stream for us. We don't police content. It's very, very rare for us to ask any broadcaster to change the way that they talk or what they do on their channel when they're fundraising for us. I mean, we come out of the punk rock scene, right? And one of the
Yep.
reasons that I love To Write Love on Our Arms is like we can kind of go places that other organizations can't, and we can meet you where you are, as you are, and as you're prepared to start your mental health journey or inspire mental health journeys in your community. So we have a website. I'll put it in chat. Our stream for TWLOHA website, or you can email streamers@twloha.com. That will go right to me. Things that we do, again, if you're a writer and you would like to write for our blog, which you can check out on the website, we are actively looking for content creators to do that with us. We always want to get more people of color involved. It's something that we've worked hard on our hiring process and with the content creators that we work with. And so if you're out there and you're a person of color, we would love to work with you. What else do I have? Probably a bunch of other things, I guess, but it all starts with that email address. So if you're interested in us in any way, whether it's on Twitch or otherwise, that's the right email to go with, and we'll get you to the right place. And thank you to Tiltify and Calamity and Ashley for having us on today and joining
Yes,
us on
thank
Mental Health
you.
Action Day.
Thank you. And Calamity Darling, where can we find you on socials?
I'm Calamity Darling on all the things, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch as well. But yeah, that's where you can find me crying over some RPG.
And James, where can we find you on social media if you want to throw your personal socials out there?
Sure. I go by Plague TV on Twitter. I was pandemic ready. I've used that as a handle for well over 10 years now, and I thought about changing it actually during the
No,
pandemic,
I
but
think it fits
yeah,
you. I like
it
Yeah.
it.
fits, right? It fits
Yeah.
somehow. Plague TV on Twitter and most other places. And then or jinx@twloha.com is my direct email.
All right, perfect. We don't have any questions, but they're just proud of all the work we're doing all together. So thank you again, James. Thank you, Calamity, everyone that takes the time to talk about mental health and supporting 2 Our Love in Our Arms and so forth. So thank you so much for using the Tiltify platform. Of course, if you have any support questions, you can put in a ticket, ask me, ask Lou, which is our community lead, and so forth. We have a pretty amazing team. I'm so happy to work with them. But just to touch base on Mental Health Action Day, so, if you want resources and tools for Mental Health Action Day, you can go to the toolkit at mentalhealthactionday.org. And those are all the resources that you'll need. And again, thank you for being here, everyone. We're going to close out shop. So, yeah, thank you again, everybody. We will see you in the next one. I don't want to leave, but we have to.
Bye.
Bye, friends.